terrible artist. Lord forgive me. I hate talking negative. She's a terrible artist. Please don't ever mention Doechii here. I literally will ban you. I don't care if you subscribe. Literally.
There's a real thirst for all things Doechii out there right now. What Doechii and the label decided was to drop this track called Anxiety, which apparently is a cut that she has been sitting on since like 2019, originally placed onto YouTube back when obviously she was more obscure and still working on her craft and still on the come up. My anxiety.
I wish somebody would try to push me today or drag me today. Not today, not Doechii, no, no, no. No, baby, no, honey. Not gonna happen, no, not today. It's not gonna happen today.
Ever wondered how someone can go from McDonald's booth to Grammy stage, then become public enemy #1? Doechii stunned fans with viral hits and a TDE deal, only to face accusations of being an industry plant and diva drama. From failing The Voice to couch surfing in New York, her rise felt like destiny. She shared stages with Kendrick Lamar and snagged a Grammy for her mixtape. But what happened that turned Doechii, a most famous rapper, to a most hated? Let's find this. Doechii, whose real name is Jayla, grew up in a small town in Florida where nobody handed her a microphone or a record deal. She tried out for The Voice and didn't make it. Yeah, that stung. With barely any money, she moved to New York, crashing on friends' couches and even sleeping in a McDonald's booth when she had no other choice. Back home in Florida, she lost her retail job because of late nights chasing music. But Jayla refused to quit. She showed up at studios asking to intern for free, soaking up every tip on beats, lyrics, and recording. Then she found The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron and made it her daily guide, writing down her thoughts, naming her fears, setting small goals. By 2019, she'd built enough to host Coven sessions, sharing her raw, unpolished songs. Clips from those shows blew up on TikTok, letting everyone hear her real story. That honest hustle turned Jayla into the Doechii we know today. Her Coven Sessions performance of Yucky Lucky Fruitcake was a total game changer. Jayla had been hosting these laid-back shows in small rooms, just her and a mic, letting fans hear brand new songs before they were polished. One night, she dropped that track and the energy was electric. Clips of her spitting honest bars and owning the beat spread like wildfire on TikTok. Fans started tagging their friends, lip-syncing, and sharing reaction videos. Before she knew it, her notifications blew up. Likes, comments, shares. Everyone was talking about Doechii. That buzz didn't just stay online. People at Top Dog Entertainment took notice. They saw how real she was, how she connected with listeners. By early 2021, they reached out. Jayla remembers getting the call and nearly dropping her phone. Signing with TDE wasn't just a contract. It was proof that her hard work paid off. She became their very first female rapper, walking into a roster that included heavy hitters and legends. It was wild to see her name next to theirs. Shortly after signing, she landed a feature on Isaiah Rashad's What You Said. They met in the studio, vibed over beats, and recorded in one take. That collab showed a different side of Doechii, softer hooks, more melodic flows, and fans loved it. The song climbed streaming charts and playlists, giving her exposure to listeners beyond her TikTok fame. In mid-2022, another milestone hit, XXL's freshman class. This annual list is known for spotlighting the brightest up-and-comers in hip-hop. When her name appeared alongside other rising stars, it felt official. Fans flooded social media with congratulations, memes, tweets, Instagram stories. Some even said they'd been watching her since Coven Sessions and now felt proud to say, I knew her before she blew up. That moment sealed her breakout. Overnight, it seemed every playlist added her songs, every hip-hop blog wrote about her story, and every DJ wanted her on their set. Yet, through all the hype, Jayla stayed grounded. She'd been chasing this dream since sleeping in McDonald's booths. Now she was on a world stage, but she kept that same hunger, writing daily, hitting the studio at dawn, and staying true to the raw, honest style that got her noticed in the first place. So yeah, it all started with that one viral performance. From Coven Sessions to a TDE deal, a killer feature with Isaiah Rashad, and a spot on XXL's freshman class, it was a whirlwind, but every step felt earned, built on late nights and fierce dedication. Fans didn't just discover Doechii overnight, they followed her journey, cheered her on, and now watch as she keeps raising the bar in hip-hop. When Kendrick Lamar called Doechii the hardest out on his Instagram, she could hardly believe it. Kendrick isn't someone who hands out praise lightly. Hearing those words from him felt like the ultimate stamp of approval. Jayla remembers staring at her phone, heart racing, thinking, Did he really just say that about me? It felt unreal, but it also showed her that hard work was paying off. Soon after, she teamed up with Tyler, the creator, on his track Balloon. Tyler's known for picking bold, creative artists, so when he asked Doechii to join him, it sent a clear message. She belonged in the big leagues. In the studio, the two played off each other's energy. Tyler's playful hooks against Doechii's fierce verses. Fans loved the mix, sharing clips and tagging both artists all over social media. That collab didn't just rack up streams, it proved she could hold her own next to established stars. Megan Thee Stallion also gave Doechii a shout out. Megan posted a story after a show saying how impressed she was with Doechii's flow and stage presence. Getting praise from Megan, who's a powerhouse in rap herself, felt like another major win. It showed that Doechii wasn't just a one-hit wonder. She was earning respect from today's top names. Beyond big-name endorsements, Doechii nailed high-profile live spots that let everyone see her skills up close. At NPR's Tiny Desk concert, she stripped away the beats and let her voice shine. Sitting behind a small desk with just a mic and a keyboard, she delivered raw, emotional versions of her songs, no fancy lights, no auto-tune, just Jayla's talent on full display. The video racked up millions of views with comments praising her honesty and power. Around the same time, she joined Genius on their live stream series. There, she broke down her lyrics line by line, sharing the stories and feelings behind each bar. Fans got to see the real person behind the music, understanding where her words came from and why they mattered. These cosigns and gigs did more than boost her stats. They built her reputation. When Kendrick, Tyler, and Megan spoke up, and when audiences saw her raw talent in intimate settings, everyone knew Doechii was here to stay. Her rise felt natural because each moment proved she earned it through hard work, real emotion, and a voice that couldn't be ignored. By the time 2023 rolled around, Doechii's name was popping up everywhere. She landed the title of Billboard's Rising Star, an award that spotlights artists on their way up. It wasn't handed out lightly. To win it, you have to show real growth, new fans streaming your songs, big shows, and buzz across social media. For Jayla, that award felt like a high five for every late night in the studio and every small show she booked before anyone knew her name. Just a few months later, she surprised even her closest supporters. Her second mixtape took home a Grammy for Best Rap Album in 2024. Think about that. Only her second full project, and she was sitting next to big names like Cardi B, Nas, and Trinidad James on the winner's stage. When they called her name, she froze for a moment, then walked up, trophy in hand, eyes wide. Backstage, she told friends it still didn't feel real, that she kept waiting to wake up from a dream. Not long after her Grammy win, Billboard tapped her again, this time as Woman of the Year. That honor looks at more than music. It highlights leadership, impact, and vision. To some, that sounds fancy, but for Jayla, it was proof she'd moved from rising act to someone shaping the culture. She'd gone from open mic nights and McDonald's booth sleepovers to being a role model for young women who want to chase big dreams. Every award added another layer to her story. The Rising Star nod pointed to her promise. The Grammy proved her craft. The Woman of the Year title showed she mattered beyond the charts. Each one reminded her and her fans how far she'd come. Jayla's journey from those first Raw Coven sessions to award shows on red carpets wasn't just about success. It was about sticking to her voice, staying true when things got tough, and believing that one day all her hard work would pay off. And oh, did it ever. When Alligator Bites Never Heal dropped, fans were ready for a hit. Instead, the album peaked at number 124 and sold just 11,000 copies in its first week. For someone whose songs were lighting up TikTok and playlists, those numbers felt low. You could almost hear critics whispering, "What happened?" Music blogs ran headlines asking how an artist so electric online could stumble in the marketplace. TDE didn't waste time. They knew the numbers didn't tell the whole story, that Jayla's strength was in her raw energy and close connection with listeners. So they shifted gears. Instead of big arenas or flashy festival slots, they booked small rooms and living room style gigs. Jayla traded stadium lights for warm, dimmed bars where fans could feel every word she sang. One of the smartest moves was sending her to NPR's Tiny Desk concert series. There, she stood behind a tiny desk with only a few instruments, no auto-tune, no dance routines, just her voice and a piano or two. She sang stripped-down versions of her songs, showing off the vulnerability and power in her tone. When critics saw how she could hold a room with nothing but her voice, many of them rethought their doubts. People who had written off the album started sharing clips saying, "Wow, did you hear her live?" Beyond Tiny Desk, TDE set up living room tours in cities where the album flopped. Jayla would show up with just a mic and a small band, telling fans how much they meant to her. She'd laugh about her days sleeping on McDonald's benches, remind them how far she'd come, and thank them for keeping her dream alive. Those nights sold out fast, and word spread that seeing Doechii live was something special. At the same time, her team leaned harder on social media. They posted behind-the-scenes clips from studio sessions, late-night writing marathons, and funny moments between takes. Jayla's charm shone through. She was real, sometimes goofy, always honest. Fans who hadn't bought the album started streaming her older tracks just to feel closer to her story. Slowly but surely, the pivot worked. The album's streaming numbers began to climb. Songs that felt flat in a big market push found new life in intimate settings. Critics who had shrugged at the chart position started praising her artistry. Jayla proved that success isn't just about big numbers up front, it's about building a community that believes in you. By returning to what made her real, honest songs, close performances, and genuine moments, she turned a stumble into a fresh start. When Doechii's career took off so fast, people started asking questions. She went from small Coven Session shows to signing with Top Dog Entertainment in record time. Then, only a year later, she was on stage at the Grammys holding a trophy for her mixtape. For some, that speed felt too polished, too planned. Whispers spread that she was an industry plant, an artist who only looks like they worked their way up but really had label money and connections pushing them forward. Fans on forums pointed to her quick TDE deal. They said no one gets signed that fast without someone big behind the scenes. Others noted that winning a Grammy on a second mixtape was almost unheard of. They wondered how someone could rack up that much clout so quickly. Critics wrote think pieces claiming her story was more PR campaign than real hustle. Instead of ignoring the chatter, Doechii faced it. At Billboard's Women in Music event, she took the stage to accept her Rising Star Award. Mid-speech, she paused and said, "I've heard you. You think I'm just a product that my team launched me. But every sleepless night, every studio session before dawn, every page I wrote in my notebook, that was me." She thanked her team for believing in her, but made it clear that no one could trade their own sweat for them. After that speech, social media lit up. Some critics softened, saying her honesty was refreshing. Others still weren't convinced, but at least the conversation shifted from rumor to respect for her work ethic. Behind the scenes, her label backed her up too. They shared clips of Jayla in the studio late at night, of her writing lyrics by a single lamp, of her driving from one showcase to another. Those moments showed that nobody handed her success on a silver platter. Ultimately, the industry plant label faded as fans saw the actual grind. Doechii kept releasing music, kept performing, kept sharing her story. With each new track and every live show, she proved that her rise wasn't manufactured, it was earned. And for many, that was enough to quiet the skeptics once and for all. Now let's take a look at backlash events resulting Doechii downfall. First of all is Kanye West and Azealia Banks' backlash. When Kanye West posted Doechii Industry on his Instagram story, fans did a double take. It wasn't a compliment. He made it sound like she was just a product, not a real artist. That one line created waves. Fans who loved her begged Kanye to listen to her music again. Critics jumped in, saying maybe he was right. Then there was Azealia Banks. At first, Azealia seemed to back Doechii, praising her style. But in a sudden turn, Azealia accused her of riding on dark-skin tokenism, basically saying Doechii only got attention because she fit a label's idea of diversity. Azealia went on to call her boring and untalented. Those words stung. Social media lit up with threads, memes, and heated debates. Some people agreed with Azealia. Others shouted back that Doechii had more than enough talent to stand on her own. Together, Kanye and Azealia's comments felt like a 1-2 punch. Overnight, negative posts about Doechii went viral. Hashtags questioning her skills trended. Friends told her to ignore it, but you can't scroll through Instagram without seeing those clips. Second is controversial comments on Truth or Dab. On a late-night live stream game called Truth or Dab, the host asked her what her biggest dating red flag was. She answered with a laugh, "Straight men." It was meant as a joke, but it spread fast. Screenshots of that moment circulated everywhere. Some critics said she was shouting down an entire group of people. Even some LGBTQ+ fans felt it was a bit careless. They said calling all straight men a red flag was unfair and risked turning away listeners. Within hours, comments flooded Twitter and TikTok. Doechii hates half the world, some wrote. Others defended her sense of humor, saying she was just being playful. Doechii later posted a quick note. She loved all her fans, straight or not, and that it was a silly comment blown out of proportion. That helped calm things, but the moment showed how easy it is for a quick joke to turn into a big headline. Met Gala diva. Moment is also important for Doechii. At the Met Gala, someone caught video of Doechii backstage giving sharp instructions. She asked for a specific umbrella angle, told an assistant to adjust her earpiece, and checked her schedule down to the minute. Clips showed her tone as firm. Some said it was rude. Fans called her entitled and shared the clip with captions like, "She's too much." But others jumped to her defense. They pointed out that big events like the Met Gala are chaotic. Celebrities have to move fast, hit their marks, and keep their looks flawless in front of cameras. They argued that asking for help at those pressure points isn't diva behavior. It's part of the job. On Instagram stories, Doechii posted a short apology. She didn't mean to come off bossy. She was just focused on doing her best. A few days later, she shared behind-the-scenes photos showing her joking and laughing with the same assistants. That helped fans see a softer side and remember why they liked her in the first place. Between Kanye's sneer, Azalea's critique, the truth or dab fallout, and the Met Gala clip, Doechii weathered a storm of high-profile blowback. But each time she faced criticism, she answered with honesty, showing people the real person behind the headlines. Doechii started hearing whispers about copying other artists when she dropped a guest verse on a K-pop remix. People online said her rhythm and wordplay sounded too much like Nicki Minaj's style. Then, when she appeared on tracks with Cardi B and The Weeknd, the talk got louder. Some fans felt she was copying their flows instead of bringing something new. Doechii has always said Nicki was one of the first rappers she loved. She used to listen to Nicki's albums on repeat and learned how to switch up her delivery by studying those songs. To her, it felt like paying respect, giving a nod to someone who paved the way, but not everyone saw it that way. On forums and comment sections, critics posted side-by-side clips of Nicki and Doechii verses, pointing out similar patterns in their voices and how they hit certain beats. The debate split fans in two. One group said Doechii was just another up-and-comer copying big names to get attention. The other group argued she was showing love to her hero by weaving in familiar moves before making her own mark. Even some music writers joined in, wondering whether artists today can show influences without getting accused of stealing. Instead of staying quiet, Doechii spoke up in interviews. She said every artist borrows from someone they admire, and it's part of growing as a musician. She thanked Nicki for inspiring her, but promised she'd keep finding her own path. Whether people agreed or not, the accusations pushed Doechii to work harder on her next songs, making sure her voice stood out louder than ever. When Doechii dropped Anxiety, everyone noticed right away. She took Gotye's melody from Somebody That I Used to Know and turned it into a rap anthem about stress and doubts. Fans rushed to streaming apps, and before long, it cracked the top 10 charts, her first hit that big. But there was a catch. The team cleared the sample at the last minute, and a few days later, she got slapped with lawsuits over rights. Suddenly, what should have been a win turned into a headache of legal calls and PR statements. On YouTube and TikTok, reaction videos poured in. Some listeners said the song spoke to them, that the beat and lyrics nailed what it feels like to overthink. They shared lines like, "My mind's racing, can't find peace," and said it was her most honest track yet. But not everyone was sold. Big streamers like Kaizen and XQC jumped on their live streams and tore it apart, calling it overrated and proof that labels push songs to the top no matter what. Then came Aiden Ross. On a popular gaming stream, he unloaded on Doechii, calling her an entitled piece of trash who didn't deserve all the praise. Brands pulled his sponsorships fast, and Punch, TDE's vice president, posted a warning that hate speech could cost influencers their deals. That moment showed how fierce the split had become. Some fans defended Doechii, saying she was honest about mental health and deserved the success Others sided with the streamers, arguing that her label machine pushed her too hard. Through it all, Doechii stayed calm. She shared a short note thanking fans for sticking by her and said she was working on clearing up the legal mess. She also hinted at new music coming soon, songs she promised would speak even more to people's real feelings. Whether you loved Anxiety or hated it, one thing was clear. Doechii had everyone talking, and she wasn't slowing down anytime soon. Top Dog Entertainment knew they needed a new plan. Instead of dropping big singles without warning, they chose slow, controlled releases. They'd tease clips on social media, then share the full song a week later. It gave fans time to get curious and talk among themselves. At the same time, TDE launched a behind-the-scenes docuseries. Viewers saw Jayla in her bedroom turned studio, scribbling lyrics on scraps of paper, practicing moves in front of a mirror, and laughing with friends over late-night takeout. They even included clips of her first YouTube videos, where she rapped in a bright tutu, her voice raw and unfiltered. Those moments reminded fans where she started and why she fought so hard. They also set up small, private shows in living rooms, art galleries, and tiny clubs. Tickets were limited, so word spread fast. Fans got to chat with her after the set, hear stories about her McDonald's nights, and see her genuine excitement when someone knew every word. Still, some people wondered if all this was real or part of a carefully designed image. Was TDE trying to cover up her earlier missteps? Or were they honestly sharing her journey? No matter the answer, the strategy made fans feel closer to Doechii and kept her story front and center. Doechii's name is on nearly every playlist right now. Her songs get millions of streams and she's one of the most played voices in hip-hop. But with big success comes big pressure. Lots of people still think of her as the anxiety girl or say she's an industry plant. That label can stick, and she can't let one song define her career. Her next project is Make or Break. She needs catchy beats that get radio play, but also honest lyrics that show who she really is. Fans want the energy that made her famous, but they also want to see growth. If she leans too hard into pop hooks, she risks losing the raw edge they fell in love with. If she goes too deep into personal stories, she might scare off casual listeners. Every release will be watched. One wrong move, a weak single, or a half-hearted performance could bring back rumors about her label backing or make people say she's just a flash in the pan. But if she nails it, drops a song that's both real and massive, it could shut down all the noise. A powerful comeback would remind everyone that Doechii isn't just a viral name, she's here to stay. Doechii's story is a roller coaster of grit, breakthrough fame, and brutal backlash, all before her debut album even dropped. Haters point to industry ties and diva moments, but her journey from McDonald's floors to Grammy stages tells a different tale. What's your take? Has Doechii earned her place in hip-hop, or is the hate all too justified? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, like, share, and subscribe for more.